Hey, so now that we've talked a little bit about where the house of prayer idea came from for presence, what are the practicals of a house of prayer? I know when I think of house of prayer, I think of maybe Upper Room or IHOP. And the reality is, this is going to be different, likely, than all of them. But there are some patterns that we're modeling after, and more specifically, probably more like Upper Room than IHOP. Our goal with this house of prayer is not to invite the world in to pray with us. If anything, like I told you, this is a missional house of prayer. God actually gave us the mission of the Moravians in 1700s with Count Zinzendorf. If you haven't heard their story, basically they started, it was a bunch of refugee Christians that were on this man's property, and they started a prayer meeting that lasted 24/7 for 100 years. And it was during this prayer time, it was during this time when they started to gather, that their hearts were burning for salvations. Their hearts were burning for the reward of the Lamb. In fact, their battle cry was, "Our Lamb has conquered. We will follow him too." And so as a result, you had some of these Moravians selling themselves into slavery in order to reach the slaves in these Caribbean islands for the gospel. And so they went through great lengths from this place of prayer. Their hearts were burning for the heart of God for the people around the world. And so the Lord put it on our heart that this house of prayer is not just a house of prayer we're trying to get people to pray, but really the purpose is we would begin to burn for salvations, for souls, for people to be saved, healed, and delivered in our city, around our city, in the whole earth. And so this is very much a missional or harvest-oriented house of prayer. That's why I love the picture of the temple in Ezekiel, where it's from the temple, the prayer house, that the river flows out of into the city. So the goal is not to get everybody into the house of prayer to pray. In fact, if we launched it secretly and not many people knew about it, I would not be mad at all. There will be no live streams. There'll be no separate Instagram channel to promote it. This is purely so that we would sit before him and put him first. And so also, if you don't think of house of prayer and get all excited, I want you to know that Presence is having this house of prayer as its foundation, so that we will always put Jesus first. I believe that if we have a house of prayer as our foundation, if our house is actually called a house of prayer, then I really do believe that as a church, we will always be preaching Jesus. We'll preach the gospel and preach Christ crucified for the salvation of souls on the earth, the expanding of the kingdom. Without that, we're very possibly going to go follow Christianity, or we might, and just the model of church that we have today. So the house of prayer, I believe, will lock us in to really seeking after the lost and seeing his kingdom come. So practically, I believe the Lord told us every day we're supposed to be in there. And so I'm working with the team now to figure out what that looks like. And as of now, because the Lord is still just talking to us a little bit each day, each week, unfolding more of the story, which is so fun. But also, we don't know. Right now, we're looking at 2 hours a day and in groups of 2 or more, so it won't be anybody by themselves. And we'll be in one building each time. So we'll have one central location where people will come in groups of 2 and pray for 2-hour sets or longer. As we get more and more established, we will try to get a morning and an evening set, maybe a morning, noon, and night. Again, what Upper Room is doing, I like a lot, and I think it has a lot of great purpose. On Fridays, we are going to have more of a corporate time where people are going to come together, and we're going to go from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and we're going to have worship and praise and prayer as a corporate gathering. And so we're still figuring out what each night's going to look like and each time. But for now, that's the commission that we have. In the future, we'll see what happens. Right now we have a space coming that we're still kind of figuring out if it's going to work out. We're going to launch the House of Prayer on March 7th, which is the day after we get done reading the scriptures for 36 hours through our Like a Fire event that's going to be happening. March 7th is the start date, and then the end date, I don't know. I kind of half believe we're supposed to have a 100-year vision for this. I feel like that's enough. The builder gave us that. The last question I want to answer you might have is maybe you're someone that says, I love prayer. I miss praying in a corporate setting. How can I be a part of this? Honestly, I do want people to be a part of this. We have slots to fill, and we do need to fill them with people that feel called to do this. And so in that, we're going to create some training videos, kind of just short. We're going to create some vision for how we want to structure each of these prayer sets. And most likely it'll look like, a time of thanksgiving, a time of worship, and a time of intercession. We'll have some time in training you on that. What's it look like? Do you need to have an instrument, or can you just bring a speaker and just pray with your speaker for a couple hours. Stay tuned on all of that. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to get connected and plugged in. For now, if you want to reach out to me at contact@presenceoc.org, I will return and I'll kind of feed you, put you on the list of information flowing out. But also just keep an eye on our email and our Instagram page, and we'll be getting information to pull people in. Again, the goal is not to get everybody in the house of prayer, but to begin to return to the temple like Hezekiah did. And as a nation, really as a region of Orange County, return to prayer as the first and greatest thing that we can do is just sit at the feet of Jesus and just listen to him and worship him and love him. So I hope you'll join us. If you don't have a call, you don't feel called to join us in the house of prayer, please pray for what's going to happen when all this stuff. I really believe that this house of prayer will bless the whole city, the region. I believe other churches are going to be blessed by the temple being reinstated with worship and prayer daily. Thanks for your time, and stay tuned for more.